All right, I appreciate each and every one of y'all showing up. Obviously, we're here for a very unique, particular case. The individual from Kentucky, Exantis, who committed a heinous crime and ended up here in Marion County. And I'm going to start off with this first. One of the things I want to say thank you to General Uthmeier, my state attorney, Bill Gladson, and the collaboration that we have together. Now, we talk about it all the time. The state of Florida is unique when it comes to criminal justice. We stand a cut above, not only in our law enforcement on the ground, but also when it comes to the judicial part of ensuring people are held accountable. Now, I will not say the individual's full name, Exantis, because I don't believe that he deserves the right for me to even say it here on camera. But this despicable individual who committed a murder, let's get that perfectly clear, committed a murder in another state of a 6-year-old child. Now, I work hard on a regular basis to ensure that criminals are held accountable in this county, but then when they come from a different state and end up in my county, that is definitely even a bigger problem. In particular, I want to thank State Attorney Bill Gladson. And for the record, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best state attorney that we've got in this state, right here, Bill Gladson. And I'm appreciative of the work that his office does, he does in the 5th Judicial Circuit. But because he decided to give us a call to make us aware of the father, the victim's father, that potentially would be going after Exantis because he had moved here in Marion County. Now, I don't necessarily have an issue with that because as a father myself, do you really blame the man? Killed his 6-year-old child and even stabbed the 6-year-old sister, to whom I just got off the phone with. She has been paying attention to this case. She's very appreciative. The family's very appreciative. And to them, to the family members that are watching, and for you, 10:55, his ass was out of my jail. And probably right now, if I was to guess, it's 1 o'clock, he's probably about to cross the Florida-Georgia line and continuing on his way to Kentucky, where it should be. Now, we always on camera, or you always interview and you ask many questions. Some of the questions, how do we get here? And I've mentioned it before. One of the biggest problems is holding people accountable. You know, you have, and to my understanding, what's been conveyed to myself and Bill, is that the parole board in Kentucky did the right thing. A unanimous vote to say no on this individual being released. And because of some stupid, obscure law which Kentucky has, that murderer came here. That was his mistake, was even deciding to move to Marion County. Because of what information he found, we were able to find where he lived. This is what's disturbing to me, is the photo, as you can see where the school is. Okay? The house he was living in is circled in red. That's literally less than probably 40 yards from the school entrance. An individual that has already killed a 6-year-old, stabbed his sister, and stabbed it, if it hadn't been for his father, probably went even further. Next to one of my schools. Will not tolerate it. And as far as I'm at Kentucky, if you're listening, keep their asses in your state. Do not allow them to come to Florida. Definitely do not allow them to come to Marion County. Because I promise you, the great work of General Uthmeier, State Attorney Bill Gladson, and myself, and all the law enforcement here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, we will hunt you down and ensure you're put right back where you should be. Because the truth is, this individual should not see the light of day. And I don't play this game of insanity. That is not an excuse. It's not a reason. He killed a 6-year-old child that could not defend themselves. Should not see the light of day. And I definitely do not want him here in Marion County. Now, I'm going to turn it over to the state of Florida's great Attorney General Uthmeier.
Thank you, Sheriff. It's great to be back here. I tell you, I love being in Central Florida with these guys. If you're a criminal, I mean, you're basically staring at the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You're not going to get away around here. The facts of this case are tragic. 6-year-old brutally stabbed in his sleep and killed. What's even more tragic is that this guy was released after only 7 years behind bars. He had a sentence that was shrunk because of an insanity defense, and then ultimately was allowed to get out early. This is dangerous and it's unacceptable. A plea of insanity, of incapacity, does not alleviate moral responsibility. A plea of incapacity does not exonerate criminal behavior. Thankfully, we got a tip within a week. These guys are on it. Law enforcement is watching this individual. He had a parole violation. He failed to notify authorities of his presence here in the state as a violent felony offender, and thus we got him back behind bars. I want to thank the sheriff, State Attorney Bill Gladson, our statewide prosecutor Brad McVeigh for working together quickly to get this dangerous individual off the streets and away from our kids. We see across the country soft on crime policies allowing tragedy after tragedy to take place. These brutal murders committed by people that have offended time and time again, and nevertheless have been let out early. Here in Florida, that doesn't fly. We are tough on crime. As long as I'm Attorney General working with these guys, we're going to continue to be tough on crime, and we're going to do everything we can to protect our families and make this the safest state to raise your kids. There are a handful of states out there already that have a narrowed insanity defense. I believe Kansas, Utah, Idaho, Montana. I hope that the leaders in Florida will look at adding Florida to that list of states. I believe the insanity defense is often abused. It allows people to evade accountability and get out early. It impedes the work of prosecutors who stick their necks out and who go face to face with dangerous criminals every day in the courtroom to protect the citizens of our great state. So I hope that we can rein it in and prevent its continued abuse because, again, there's no excuse for stabbing a 6-year-old child repeatedly and ending his life. So I'm glad we were able to get this guy off the streets. We'll continue to be out there watching and ready to fight back against anybody that wants to hurt our great Floridians. All right. Thank you. State Attorney?
Thank you, General.
Switch with you here.
My name is Bill Gladson. I am the State Attorney here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, and I want to echo what Sheriff Wood said and what General Uthmeier said. This was a collaborative effort, and without each individual agency knowing exactly what their purpose was public safety. If they didn't have that in mind, it wouldn't have come together so quickly. But the sheriff and his deputies, particularly Major Pulford, was right on top of it. So as soon as I heard that this person had moved to this county, I contacted Major Pulford, and they got right on the case. They were able to set up surveillance, find out where he was, got with probation and parole, figured out that he hadn't registered and he'd been here more than 48 hours. And they were able to execute a plan to take him into custody safely. And that's, again, just because of the collaborative effort between the Office of Statewide Prosecutor Brad McVeigh, myself, the sheriff, and the Attorney General's office. It really works well when everybody communicates, when everybody puts public safety as a priority. So I just want to thank the sheriff and thank the general and thank our new statewide prosecutor, Brad McVeigh, for just working so well with everybody in law enforcement. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. McVeigh.
Thank you, sir. Well, as the AG says, when it comes to children, Florida is going to do everything possible to protect them. I think this extradition serves as an example of the state of Florida, its public officials and their staff coming together and ensuring the safety of our children, our families, and this community here. This criminal sentence was an egregious miscarriage of justice. This defendant brutally murdered a 6-year-old and served 7 years, and now he's back into the community. Simply put, Florida is not going to put up with that. These gentlemen here aren't going to allow it, and this individual is now on his way back to Kentucky where he belongs. You're not going to come into Florida and violate our laws without being held accountable. I want to thank steady leadership of the Attorney General, the Sheriff, State Attorney Gladson for quick and decisive action in this matter, and the Office of Statewide Prosecution is happy to have played a part and been a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All righty, I will open it up to any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff Woods, Exantis got arrested a little more than 2 weeks ago. What has that process been like to get him extradited back to Kentucky as of a little before 11 o'clock this morning?
It's actually been quite amazing. You know, we've already mentioned a collaborative effort. You know, when you have entities like ourselves working together, the true process of the judicial system and the extradition goes so much smoother because each of us recognize, like he said, the community safety. Them kids' safety. That's what's of utmost paramount. That's what's in his mind, that's what's in his mind, and that's what's in his mind. And when each of us come together, recognize the hazard that a county or whatever area exists, we make it happen. And truthfully, between the four of us standing right here, there really wouldn't be anything that would stand in our way to getting him out of here in the extradition because it's the right thing to do. Truthfully, the right thing that should have been done is the people in Kentucky should have recognized that when a parole board says unanimously, no, regardless of what you got, and common sense says, no, okay, we better not do this. 7 years, General, you said 7 years for murder of a 6-year-old. How can anyone on this God-given earth think that's okay? It's not. That you just let him go after 7 years. For me, we're an example. State of Florida, it's as simple as that.
You also said that you've spoken to the victim's family. Can you share a little bit more about that conversation?
The best that I can tell you is one for her, because she was one of them that was stabbed, to go through that experience. And then for all these years, the emotion in her and the emotion that I could hear in the family in the background, it breaks your heart. Because it's hard. Because truthfully, and even for myself, is when it comes to for the victims out here, you got to put yourself in their place. Okay? How would you feel? How would you feel if the person that killed my brother, okay, is let go and freed after 7 years? Not a 20-some-year-old brother, not a 40-year-old brother, okay, but a 6-year-old. And the emotions are still there. I can imagine, truthfully, I can probably say that it's probably always on their mind. And they were very appreciative and thankful for us here in the state of Florida. They thanked myself, they thanked the general, the state attorney, statewide prosecutor. They were appreciative of it. So, best way that I can describe it for you, man. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
When the story originally broke about 2 weeks ago, we were told that the White House was looking into the case also. Have you heard anything back from the White House?
I personally have not. And yes, to answer your question, yes, they did. Obviously, it does make interest because you got something that's going between two states. And thankfully, we have a president that pays attention to this type of stuff. We have legislators in D.C., those that work with the White House, know what's going on. The fact that they paid attention tells you volumes right there, that they care about the communities, that obviously if you got two different states with two different things, they might need some help. And they were ready and willing to help us in any shape, way, or form. And correct me if I'm wrong, General. So that's my answer to that.
Do we know anything about his charges once he gets back to Kentucky?
So I think the straightforward answer is no. He will face a parole violation hearing. What that looks like in Kentucky, I don't know that any of us here are capable of speaking to.
But hope is certainly he's going to go back behind bars for a while, and we're certainly calling for that and watching.
If no one else, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.